Spike Lee,
Mm-hmm.
Tim Burton,
Mm-hmm.
John Waters, the Coen brothers, Chris Columbus, Paul Verhoeven,
Try again.
Paul Verhoeven, and Martin Scorsese. All people that made movies in 1990.
Yeah.
And all people that made our top 10 of 1990. Because anything outside of this, save for a few films, sucked that year. Top 10. Fresh, hot. Could smell it.
Fresh and hot.
It's toasty.
It's from 1990.
Fresh off the printer.
Oh,
I printed
okay.
this.
Printed a handwritten.
Handwritten with speed so fast it's hot.
The ink, it's still smelly.
Oh, I thought that's just the room.
It could be the room. It's probably the room.
Probably the room.
Number 10, Mo Better Blues by Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington. I watched it at a very young age. I was probably 10 years old when I first saw it. And it was back in the day when Denzel was just huge, hot off the scene. Spike Lee, one of the most prominent directors of the time. And this movie, it's got Wesley Snipes in it as well, so of course I gotta like it.
I mean, come on.
Dang.
But it's about a jazz musician and his struggles with his personal life while also trying to balance becoming a well-known musician.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part where he gets his lip bit by his partner at one point, so he can't play his trumpet. I don't know if it's real or not, but there is a birth, and you see the point of view of the baby coming out.
Interesting.
And it was the first time I had ever seen that as a kid, and it left a mark.
So top 10 material. You're like,
But it's actually one of Spike Lee's better movies. It's just good. It's Mo better than most movies.
Nice.
That's why you come here. Number 9 is Joe Versus the Volcano. Me and JD have talked about this.
I was gonna say, this sounds familiar.
this movie. I love it. You know, I'm still like, is this even a good movie? Sometimes I don't know, but I love it so much.
It's one of those movies that you don't know if it's good, but you also don't care.
You don't care.
Number 8 is Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh.
And this is Tim Burton, fresh off of Batman, his follow-up, and he's like, you know what?
Let's get weird.
Let's swing out of left field hardcore.
Let's make you cry while also being cool.
Oh, you're so right.
It's a happy, well, not happy cry. It's just, I cry a lot when I watch this movie. It's
It
very
is-
emotional.
Yeah.
You know what? The 90s had a lot of movies that you're like, is that a kid's movie? And then you watch, you're like, no, it wasn't.
Definitely not.
It's just one of those movies that so you're like, it's quaint. It's not. You know, you think, oh, it's a cute little town. He's just this guy cutting things, and he's just lonely and he's lost, and you're like, oh, there's some dark stuff in here.
This is when Tim Burton made good movies.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Speaking of Johnny Depp trying, we have John Waters' Crybaby. Oh my God.
Such an interesting pick. Did you?
Never seen it.
I remember watching this movie a lot because my sister loved it. Like it was like this and Grease and like Sound of Music. But my sister loved those movies, and like I never got into it. It was fine to like be like, cool, yeah, this is a pretty good movie. But I'm just so shocked that that it's on your list.
Crybaby is such a counterculture type movie because it's satirizing Grease and movies
Yeah.
like that, while at the same time it's a love letter to those things.
Yeah.
It's very John Waters. It's like it's watered down John Waters, but at the same time, it is absolutely everything that you love about him as a filmmaker and as an artist. He's just going full crazy, full weird, but at the same time, it's got heart. It's got Ricky Lake in it. It's got Johnny Depp in it. It's got the scene where he actually cries, and it's a fake tear, and you could tell.
Michael added a tear right here.
Number 6, we have Miller's Crossing, Coen Brothers movie.
It's very early. It's still very early, Coen Brothers, and it's a fantastic movie. Steve Buscemi is in it, and he's very good, looking very young. It's kind of because like you got John Turturro as well. A lot of like the Coen Brothers staples is like kind of where it started in this movie. It's weird. It's funny sometimes, and it's if you're a mega fan, it's a good like. Well, this is kind of where they're like finding their footing into the like where they occasionally do like almost westerny type like style.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Number 5, we have talked about this movie before, but I could talk about it forever. It's Tremors, the greatest creature movie in existence. I mean, other than the Blob and Godzilla and King Kong. Actually, it's in the top 10.
What about Jaws? Like, I mean,
Jaws, yes.
Sorry.
But it is like Jaws on land,
Yeah.
basically. And it's just like corny and stupid, and Kevin Bacon is just having a time of his life.
Fun fact about Tremors, not really Tremors or Tremors video, weirdly blew up in Ohio, so I don't really understand, but cool.
Hey, thanks, Ohio.
Thanks, Ohio.
What's up, John? I don't know. Some guy in Ohio. I don't know. Move on.
Number 4, Home Alone. JD?
I loved it when I was a kid, and then I kind of got tired of it. I think it to me it got like a weird oh great, it's Christmas, I guess we're watching Home Alone. But I revisited this movie even just during when we're all sitting at home during the height of the pandemic, and this movie moved me to tears. I was a 28-year-old just sitting at home bawling to Home Alone. The movie is so much fun. It's so well acted. The characters are great. And the story, it's and of course Sean Williams' score, and the story alone, what Chris Columbus was able to do with a Christmas movie that dominated the box office. I mean, this is a movie we're talking about made so much money. The Old Man Marley stuff, how Chris Columbus tells the same story twice, the redemption with Kevin's family, the redemption with Marley's family, healing. I'm it blows my mind. I get emotional thinking about it, just talking about it. It's just the Old Man Marley stuff. It's funny to watch Joe Pesci just take a bowling ball to the face.
I was gonna say
or a paint can to the face. But
it's like the Three Stooges.
And Daniel Stern, Daniel Stern. Those are great. Keep the change, you filthy animal. It's all things we know and we love. But when you really look at it, this movie is about so much more. And I'll do a whole video essay on it.
Number 3, we have Misery. Literally every kid that watched this movie was
yeah, it hurts my ankles.
It's just a fear. It's a fear that all kids have. It's I'm gonna be kidnapped and an old lady's gonna snap my ankles.
I'm gonna be hobbled. Legit fear.
But it's funny. Just every Stephen King based thing is about an author being beat up or tortured or something about a tortured artist somewhere somehow. But this is Kathy Bates, James Caan, stuck in a house. But this is takes it to the next level. You have artist infatuation, which is stuff we still deal with today.
Fandom thinking that they know the right way to do it. That, I think Stephen King's always been a huge deal, but I think it's just man, this dude calls what will become the internet and fan fiction and this idea this, but toxic, and you're just, man, that's nuts in 1990.
Kathy Bates won Best Actress for this, and I watched this a month ago. James Caan is amazing in this too. He has almost nothing to work, nothing as in he's by himself for a large chunk of this movie. He's great.
Yeah.
He's so good in this.
Number 2, we have Total Recall. Oh my God. Just, oh my God. This is a movie that you were not supposed to watch as a kid, and you watched it anyways. You saw the scene that all your friends talked about. You know what scene I'm talking about.
The scene where he pulls something out of his nose.
The different one. The dream within a dream aspect that Christopher Nolan stole.
You thief.
In the 90s, Arnold really flipped himself on his head.
Yeah.
And this was our first look at that. And man, I just love it. You all know, we're 3 white dudes. I already mentioned the name Martin Scorsese. I think you can figure out what number 1 is.
Yep.
Cape Fear.
Yep. That came out next year.
Next year's will be Cape Fear.
Number 1. Every Martin Scorsese movie, number 1. But this is Goodfellas. It's basically what everyone wants all Martin Scorsese movies to be.
Yeah.
But this is him at his peak. The cinematography is amazing. The story's amazing. The editing's amazing. Music's amazing. The acting's amazing. Literally everything about this movie is perfect. And the fact that it didn't win the Oscar is criminal.
It's absolutely frustrating.
They should be arrested.
They really should.
What won that year?
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves. Not on our list. Look,
and you hate Kevin Costner.
I hate Kevin Costner.
But this is, I think, the first big thing for me that I'm that's film history in a time that I was at least kind of about to be around. It's this is huge. I know Scorsese's always been around, but I feel this is a moment that oh yeah, Scorsese, you know,
Yeah.
like and then he goes on to do even more stuff. You know, like he's a dude who's like always reminding the people that he's there, like, oh hey, I'm over here making good stuff. It's even reached that status of like it's ruined like other gangster movies too.
Yeah.
It's ruined a whole genre of movies, and that's how you know it's one of the greats.
Exactly.
If it just ruined everything later, you're like, ugh, it's not good.
Exactly. It's like the Citizen Kane of gangster movies.
There's also the Godfather fans versus the Goodfellas fans. Both are great. Both very different movies. But which one?
I think
tops?
Goodfellas was like, let's take gangster movies to their absolute apex, and let's deliver you the absolute best, because Godfather sort of idolizes gangster a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Goodfellas is like
This is awful.
it kind of sucks, and you're kind of terrible human beings.
Well, and it's actually, Godfather romantic. It's a romantic movie. It treats that thing that subject matter so romantically, where Goodfellas, it like rides a line. We're like, yeah, it would be cool to be a gangster, and then someone gets murdered. You're like, I don't know anymore. Pretty Woman, we didn't mention.
Pretty Woman is a good movie.
It's fun.
Great, yeah. Let's see, Ghost.
Look,
Ooh,
I had
how
Ghost.
can we
I had
forget?
Ghost on my list. It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
Did not know that.
It is a great movie. I don't know if I were ranking with a bunch of other people, it may have made it.
Maybe. I'm just not. It's like it's a movie to me. I don't. We don't. It's just
Why are we still talking?
Wow,
Let's just end this.
Days of Thunder, Kindergarten Cop.
Un esercito di prodi